already know what that means. That means turn your radios up, switch your dials over, because Revive is alive. It's about that time. It's Meet Your Girl P.O.C. Tune in. Let's go.
You are listening to Revive Radio. The views and opinions expressed on Revive Radio does not necessarily reflect ownership, management, and advertisers of Revive Radio.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You already know what time it is. ReviveIsAlive.com. Once again, ReviveIsAlive.com. Tune in. Revive is alive. Welcome to Revive. It's about that time. Welcome to Revive. It's about that time. All I need is one mic. You know what time it is. Open up your ears. You know what time it is. Open up your mind. It's about that time. It's your girl P.O.C. Hey! It's your girl P.O.C. Hey! Proof of consciousness. Proof of consciousness. P.O.C. You know what time it is. Open up your ears. You know what time it is. Open up your mind. All I need is it's about that time. Welcome to Revive. Welcome to Revive. Welcome to Revive. Yep. You already know what time it is, man. It's Meet Your Girl P.O.C., host of Revive Radio. We are back live on ReviveIsAlive.com, man. Once again, that is ReviveIsAlive.com. You got to get up anyway, so why not get up with Meet Your Girl P.O.C. each and every morning, starting at 7 a.m., man, getting this good morning mix. Shout out to my guy, DJ Reese, man, always holding it down each and every Tuesday, each and every Friday with that good morning mix. Reese, once again, let them know how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on the gram, Twitter. That's DJREESE_. Follow me, send me a message. I'll follow right back. All right, check me out,
man. And shout out to Roxborough High School for having us both yesterday. That was a big one. Our podcast workshop. Experience. Yes, man. Our podcast workshop that we did at Roxborough High School. Shout out to Mrs. Siddiqui over there in the audio and engineering and film class, who really put that together for us, allowed us to come through and just show love, and then also just help guide the youth. You know, that's what it's all about, is putting back into the youth so they too can know that they can do it too. You know what I'm saying, Reese? Because all the kids in there, they had a dream. They was inspiring to do something. They just need a little push and encouragement to do that, and they got that from me and you yesterday, so I appreciate it. We got a lot of great feedback. They was hype, man. I would definitely encourage y'all to check out the timeline, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and also our YouTube channel as well, because we put some behind the scenes clips, a little bit of the teacher acting a fool up there as well. Reese really had him in the classroom partying and dancing, man. So definitely big ups to you, Reese, for supporting Revive Radio all the way through. But right now, man, shout out to our special guest who's in the building sitting right next to me. I'm gonna go ahead and speak it into his existence, man. The new city commissioner. What's up with you, Omar Sabir? How you feeling?
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Everybody's good, man. I'm
excited.
Yes, we're excited to be sitting next to you. You know, I heard you are a man of your word. I heard you are a man who is ready for effective change. It's change, but you're a man who's ready for effective change. Is that right?
Oh, that's right. I'm ready for it. But the only thing is, we have to understand, are we ready for it?
Ooh, what you mean by that?
And it means that we have to come on and we have to vote.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of negative connotations around voting. When you really look at it, what exactly is a vote? Mm-hmm. It's making a decision for your community.
Facts.
And policy makers look at the vote outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
They look at ballot participation.
Mm-hmm.
So participation dictates policy. It's the two P's, if you want to put it that way.
I love that you
Your
said
ballot participation affects policy makers. And so policymakers look at the numbers.
I feel you.
So we have a budget, right? Just take an example for the state. The state is a $33 billion budget, right? You have legislators that look at it and they, okay, this area right here. So you have to look at, what do you want to cut? So if I'm an elected official, and so basically the people are your boss. So if you're an elected official,
I love that you said that.
Right.
A lot of people be forgetting that.
Oh, no. The elected officials work for you, right? So they are elected officials. So that means you are the electorate. So that means the people that vote the most is going to get whatever they want.
Facts.
So the message that I'm saying to you is, the more you vote, the more you get.
Facts.
I mean, millennials are the largest people that live here in Philadelphia. So at the end of the day, we don't vote the most. The seniors, they vote, right? Seniors, you can whether it's raining, whether it's anything going on, whether it's snowing, bad weather, anything.
They're going to get out and vote.
You understand what I'm saying? And the reason why. Okay, when you look at our right to vote, voting was never a birthright for us.
Facts.
And when I say us, I talk about people that's black and brown. I mean, it never
people that look like me and you.
Yeah, that's right. It never was. So people died for our right to vote. They gave their life. It's the reason why. And they didn't just give up, they didn't give up so much just to, shop at certain stores or purchase things or go live in the suburbs. They did it for us. We are the dreams that they had. Whether they was coming over on a slave ship, whether they was working on that hard plantation, sun up to sundown, with no reasonable accommodation, separated from their families, all these different things. They still had a dream for us to be successful here.
Yes.
And when you placing that vote, that's what you're wearing when you come into the voting booth. And a lot of times we take that for granted. And when I get in be city commissioner, so you have to vote on Tuesday, May 21st. It's not just going to happen because we're telling everybody and we have a dream. There has to be the hard work. So I'm encouraging everyone to text just 10 friends. And not just text them. I want you to call 10 friends. I want you to make sure they get to the voting booth. I want you to harass them and bug them to make sure that those 10 friends are going to do it.
Don't scare them away, though. Don't scare them away.
No, we're not going to scare them away, but at the end of the day, we do have to have, it's called responsibility, and it's called being accountable.
And we got to have accountability partners.
Right.
So definitely get out there and go vote.
That's what it has to be. We have to talk to people.
But, Mr. Omar, we got to back up a little bit, right? Because a lot of people have been asking, what does a city commissioner actually do?
Okay.
And that's a question that I can answer, but I think you are better fit to answer that
question.
Okay,
sure. Okay,
so what does a city commissioner actually do?
Okay, so first, I think that's that question that a lot of people have. I think that's evidence that we need a change in office. If you don't know what city commissioner's office does, okay, I'll tell you right now. It's a 3-member, bipartisan board of elected officials that handle all the election functions in Philadelphia County. That includes the voter registration.
Okay.
We count up the votes. We deliver the voting machines. We pick them up. We make sure that you have a pleasant voting experience.
Okay.
That's our job to the T.
Okay.
So every 6 months when there's election, right, we the person that make sure everything is right. And it's very important that you have someone in the office that can count up the votes and be honest and have integrity about it. Now, some of you don't even know when election day is. I understand that, right? And when you really look at what's going on, right? I mean, there is voter suppression going on, right? And a lot of times it's not somebody standing in front of you with a water hose or a baseball bat telling you not to vote. A lot of times you just don't have the appropriate information to vote. And so we have to change that narrative, right? And that's when you go to the voting booth and you push 35 for Omar Sabir. That's not just a vote for Omar Sabir, it's a vote for change.
Okay.
There's 98 full-time jobs there. There's thousands of part-time and seasonal jobs there. And, when I get in the office, I definitely want to educate people more about the political process because you have the power. A lot of times we think that we're powerless. You're not powerless. I know you feel as though you've been marginalized. You just don't feel like that there's nothing we can stop. We have gentrification going on. We have bad schools. We have high crime. We have to show ourselves at the voting booth. Now, that's not just the only thing we have to do. But at least we must go to the voting.
We have to go to the voting, especially on these local elections. And that's one thing that, especially for my generation and my supporters and the listeners who are listening to us each and every day, that we push to understand that the local elections is really what affects us on our daily basis, our 24 hours, when it comes down to taxes, schools, soda tax that we complain about, when it comes down to the daycares and the community centers, the recreation centers, and so many different things that are happening, the potholes that we are all complaining about. It all happens on this local election.
I mean, and then, and out talking to people and communicating with people, some people say, oh, why should we vote? Let's just do the business. Okay, yeah, I understand that. But you still have to get through zoning and do your business.
Facts.
You can have all the money in the world you want. If you want to open up all the schools, all the businesses you want, and then you have to go through zoning. That's a political process. So so that's, you have to be voters. I mean, a lot of times we look at things being separate. Okay, politics is over here in this space. Businesses in this space. Activism is in this space. It's also all about citizenship. And to be good citizens, we have to come to the voting booth.
Facts.
And so right now, and then next Tuesday, May 21st, you have to get out there and you have to vote. It takes less than 5 minutes to go vote.
Yes. And the crazy part is, I want to definitely admit and say my truth myself. Right. I did not know that the city commissioner's job was to actually handle all the polling booths, and also the voting registration. Right. And voting registration is one of the biggest hassles that we come across when it's election season, because of people who look like me and you. It seems that we are being, demonized every time we go register, or it's always a hookup when we go register too. It's not an easy process as it is in other communities and other zip codes. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Okay, well, that's one of the issues that we heard that a lot. So if you go to omarforphilly.com, you can get registered. And you can do that from your own smartphone. So if you're hearing this right now, you can go to omarforphilly.com and you can get registered. But unfortunately, if you get registered today, like right now, if you wasn't registered, you're not going to be able to participate in this upcoming election.
Okay. Because it was done on May 22nd. April 22nd.
Well, April 22nd, right? That was the deadline. So we have some archaic election code laws from the state. It hasn't been updated since 1937.
What does that mean?
Okay, so it means like this. It means it takes us 30 days prior to the upcoming election to get registered.
Really?
So we have a lot of paper printing. So when you come into the voting booth, you sign the book. It has to get printed. So so it takes like 30 days to get printed all across the county. So the Department of State is going to handle all the elections all across the state. So so I say all that to say, one of the changes that I want to perform is automatic voter registration.
Okay.
So if we have automatic voter registration, if we have same day voter registration, meaning that you can walk into a polling booth, get registered, and vote.
All at the same time?
At the same time.
Is that something that is, I'm about to say, is that something that's
universal? A lot of states have that. If you look at states like Oregon, Colorado, even California, they're so progressive. They actually bring in polling booths up to the prisons. And so prisoners actually can vote, cast their vote actually while they're incarcerated.
Really?
Yeah.
And would you say that's effective change?
Oh, that's progressive.
That's what we needed, right?
That's what we need. We want to eliminate all the barriers for people to participate in the process.
And what's one of the biggest barriers that we here in the state of Pennsylvania face when it comes to, the obstacles, I would say, of getting people registered to vote? What's one of the biggest things that we face?
Well, I believe right now, just talking to a lot of people in the community, I think people have lost faith in government as a whole.
Really?
And it's not just people of color. A lot of people are just not participating. It's just like they just don't feel like that their voice counts. They can't see the relation.
Okay.
So as we look, a lot of times, love and hate is what drive people to the polls. People love President Barack Obama. He ran to the polls, right?
Yes.
People hate our current president, Donald Trump.
They ain't just run to the polls. They ran to D.C. Like, it was so many people.
Right. There was a lot going on, right?
Yes.
Right. So love and hate typically does it, right? And those are those far extremes, right? But all in the midst of all of that, we just didn't really get to just what citizenship.
Okay.
And the average everyday person that's just working every single day, they don't feel, they don't believe that one vote that they cast means anything. And I'm here to tell you that that's not really the American dream. I mean, if you look at Harriet Tubman, Octavia Scotto, if those people believe that, we would still probably be on the plantation.
Facts.
They didn't have no guns, they didn't have no money, but they just had a dream that they wanted to be free, and they wanted their future generations to be free. And that's really the American dream. And right now, look at our community. A lot of our younger men, a lot of women, a lot of our younger people, they have lost hope. And that's where you see them being involved.
And that's crazy, because Barack Obama ran on hope.
Right. And that's really, when you really look at it, that's what we're missing. We're looking for hope and optimism and creativity in our community is lost, man.
Because and if I can just speak from my personal opinion, I wouldn't say that we lost hope. I would say that we lost the belief that something is actually going to change. Like, we still hope for change, you know what I mean?
Right.
We still have that I would say we still have that expectation, you know, we still have that faith of a mustard seed that it is going to change, but it's just the fact that we don't physically see it. And for politicians, especially for millennials, you have to show us better than you can tell us, because people have been telling us for so long that this is going to happen, this is going to happen, but we continue to grow up in a school system that was not, you know, designed for us. We continue to grow up in a community that we were suffering. We continue to grow up in the spaces and environments where we were grabbing each other down like crabs in a barrel. So when we see, you know, city commissioners and city council and state reps, you know, running for office that look like us, about time. Yes, we are excited for that. But at the same time, are you too going to be, you know, another Seth Williams? You know, somebody who say they're going to do something, but then do the complete opposite, and then in return be, you know, I would say, a crook about it. You know what I mean? And that's another thing too, because a lot of politicians, once they get in office, they don't do what they said they were going to do. They actually, in return, turn around and make it about themselves.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that. But, you know, a lot of times we do have a lot of things inside of ourselves that has been passed down from slavery, right? And we're working on those insecurities, right? But a lot of the conditions that we're at, we have to look at the results from not voting. You got to understand that you figure 30 years ago, you could go to a public school. If you look at the voter participation rates back then, meaning my father, my parents, what they was doing, you could send your kid to a school. I have 5 children right now. It's difficult for us to send our children to public school. It's a pipeline of prison.
Facts.
So that came from not voting. It's like, okay, I love the millennials. I'm 39. I got elected first for traffic court judge 6 years ago. I was 33.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Right, thank you. You know what I mean? And you know, they got rid of the office. So last 6 years I've worked.
So Reese, we good on traffic court. We got a friend now.
well, it was, you know what I mean? But now, you know, I work for state.
You still got a little plug in there, I'm sure. I'm playing.
No. You just talked about ethics, you know. But and it's like, so when we look at, see, my younger brother got killed. Right?
Sorry to hear that.
You know,
here in the
about
city?
3 years ago. In the city.
Okay.
Right, 25th and Lehigh. You know, and he was 25. And still, it's like, you know, he had almost everything he probably, you know, needed. He didn't, you know what I mean? But he just was involved in some of the wrong stuff. And, you know, it just speaks to our society, you know, that he got killed, right? And it's just like a lot of younger people, I'm telling you, they don't have that hope. That's what's missing. But I don't want to paint that grim picture. I just want to tell everyone that, you know, we can change our behavior. But the behavior that we must change right now is us being involved in the political process, because politics affect everything. Those prisoner pipeline schools that we're talking about, that was a political decision. Someone made a decision that we're going to have a school system that's going to miseducate our children. Right? Somebody has made a decision that we're going to have these potholes. Right? Somebody's going to, you know, have these decisions for anything. So we have to control the narrative. You know, and that narrative comes from when we're advocating for our community. No one can do it. See, we can't put the emphasis on, let's just say, a politician. We say, okay, we elected you, we believe in you, you're going to change the world. No. We're going to change the world. We're going to have a space that's comfortable for us, but this elected official is going to do what we tell them to do, because they work for us. Right. And, you know, we have to give a lot of elected officials support. You know, especially sometimes we be a little bit harder. You know what I mean? People call sometimes we be harder on themselves sometimes. You know, that you go to a certain store sometimes. You know, we'll go to an African-American store and we'll just, you know, run them through the ringers. You know what I mean?
Let me get a little discount.
They walk through with a white glove. They ask for a discount. Sometimes, you know, it happens, right? And then, you know, you go to some of these dirty, you know, stores that we have in our community that you can smell the grease from a block away.
And we don't say nothing.
You have all these different, and yet still, we still patronizing these, but we still hard on the black business.
Exactly.
So what we need is a refound just love, man, for black and brown people.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you about that, pushing that love, making sure that love is in our community and then also in our spaces, so we can definitely show that to each other. You know, just simple things of saying hi, good morning, picking up the trash in your neighbor's yard. Because like I always say, if you don't pick it up up in your neighbor's yard is going to end up in your yard anyway. So you're going to be the one with the attitude. But I got to also shout you out because I'm alumni of Cheney University myself. Yes. I meant to say that. And I wanted to ask you that because Cheney University, I know it has nothing to do with the city of Philadelphia, but a lot of people from the city of Philadelphia graduated from Cheney University. You know what I mean? Like Cheney University.
I got to correct you right there. You said that the Philly don't have nothing to do with Cheney. Yes, it does.
Okay, I'm just saying
That's
because
a feeder.
I was saying because it's a
so
state
when we look
school.
at people like Octavius Cotto, Richard Humphreys.
So we're saying the same thing, yes.
Right, so Cheney that's out there now, as you know, that's the third location. Right, so, and you understand all of the teachers that been at Cheney and that's been affecting, you know, our community. Right, so we got to look at some of the policy decisions that were made.
Yes.
You know, whereas though, okay, and you see things that happen up at Cheney.
That's why I'm asking.
You know, right, some of the, you know, it's a lot of stuff going on. Michael Cord, he's filing lawsuits. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that's going on. Right, but at the end of the day, right, you know, we can make a policy decision that, you know, the city of Philadelphia can actually give, you know, Cheney some money.
Facts.
That could be a decision that could be made.
Because that's where all our students are going. If once they leave CCP, the next step is Cheney University.
The next step is Cheney.
Come on, man.
And then, like I said, you know, we talking about teaching our children. I mean, that's a valuable resources, and everybody know that Cheney has the best classroom teachers.
Yes.
The way how they teach you. I
Yes.
mean, you know, and that's when you talk about somebody like Octavius Cotto, you know, one of our founders. And, you know, he got killed on election day. Telling people to vote. And, you know, he's the only African-American that actually has a statue that's paid for by the city here in Philadelphia.
Here in the city.
That's right. It's right down in City Hall. Octavius Cotto. I mean, you know, he was a man, and he was only like 35 when he passed away. If you look at people like Crispus Attucks, you know, he was the first patriot that passed away. He was only 33. So I say all that to say, millennials, you know, we can't wait for nobody to do something for us that we can do for ourselves.
Fact. And another reason why I brought that up is because Cheney University, besides Lincoln, is the only HBCU, you know, the two HBCUs of the North, you know what I mean? So when we speak about education, I just wanted to make sure that we put that in there because I know it's not a city school, but it's still a state school that needs funding. And I wanted to just make sure that they understand that they need to fund my university, our university, because we want to keep our university alive.
But that could be be a policy decision. So what happens a lot of times, we don't understand just how the political process works. People look at a map and they look and see how many people has participated in the process. Not necessarily who you voted for, but just if you're voting. So if you're voting a lot, someone has a dream to become the governor, or someone has the dream of becoming the United States Senator from Pennsylvania, Attorney General. You know, people have these different dreams that they have, aspirations. They look at it and say, okay, who's participating in the process? And then they ask them, what's your top 3 issues? And of course, Cheney alumni, you say, okay, funding change, funding change. What you're going to see is someone coming out and saying, hey, you support Cheney. You see a lot of the president's candidates now. They're saying they want to fund reparations. Right? So, I mean.
Everybody's talking about reparations.
But because they want the black vote.
But that's not our issue in 2020. That's not the millennial issue. If you want that millennial issue, I mean, that millennial vote, you need to speak millennial issues. And a lot of them are pandering towards marijuana. You know what I'm saying? I do understand that marijuana is a huge industry, especially because it's a $1 billion industry, especially because we are being affected by that $1 billion industry. So I get that, but that is not the millennial issue at all, in my opinion.
Here, if we want our seat at the table on Tuesday, May 21st, if the millennials come out and participate in this election process and send a message.
We want jobs. We want health care.
I got you. I understand all that. We want all that stuff.
Yes.
But we have to vote it.
We want prison reform. We want criminal justice reform. That's what we're looking for. Because
we
we're trying to stay alive. You know what I'm saying? You just named 2 black men that was killed at 33 and 35. You know what I'm saying? They didn't make it. You know, and they had so much more to give the community and just the national attention in general. So when you think about, you know, what's going on in our city, especially here in the city of Philadelphia, homicide rates skyrocket. You know what I mean? The percentages is up at this point in time. So what are we going to do about that?
Well, I mean, of course, we understand that, you know, we have more of a police presence, that we have video cameras. One of the things we did over in the Mantua area, we actually, with the State Work Center of Vincent Hughes, we actually got video cameras placed up. So we received state funding, but we also work with the community so they can fundraise these little fish dinners to actually get the resources to put the video cameras up. And it actually improved the quality of life in the community, because a lot of the people were afraid of the drug dealers that was in the community. So we stepped up, we got video cameras, And, you know, the people now, they actually can go out on our steps. We cleaned up certain vacant lots that was there. We did some quality of life issues that we worked on over there with State Senator Vincent Hughes' office.
Awesome.
And, you know, we saw the improvement. But, again, you know, that senator, my senator, or he's still my senator, and I love him very much, right? He's, you know, Mike, my senator.
He's a Cheney alum, too, as well.
No, he's not Cheney.
I mean, but he represents
He's
Cheney.
on the board of trustees.
Yes, that's
Cheney.
what I meant to say.
Right.
He represents Cheney well.
Right.
Yes.
But now,
Thank you for that.
Right. So a guy like that, he really don't. Now that area typically don't participate in the process, but he understands. You know, he's put the video cameras up there. You know, we have policymakers that's not as genuine as some or really care about the community, even know the issues.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not probably going to put resources there, you know, for areas that don't vote. So I say all that to say, you know, millennials, we have to step up and we have to vote. You know, that's very important. And then once we vote, then we're going to become an activist. We're still going to want to open up businesses in our communities. We're still going to want to still organize, you know, every single month, you know, to get out there and talk about the issues and see what type of pressure that we can apply. But right here, right now, next Tuesday, we need to get out and we have to vote. We have to push 35. If you push 35, it's going to make you feel alive.
I like
right?
that, because Revive is alive. I had to finish that once. Yes, no doubt. And I wanted to ask you, too, because you are the founder of Vote Philly Vote, too, as well. So what was that campaign all about?
Okay, so it was, we actually started Vote Philly Vote in 2010. And, you know, we was going around voter registration, going to the community events, informing the community about voting. It's a nonpartisan movement. And unfortunately, for years, you know, nonpartisan movement, nonpartisan voter education, we couldn't get any funding for it. Nobody really wanted to participate in it. And so after 2016, what happened, you know, as President Trump won Pennsylvania, we saw that 344,000 Philadelphians didn't participate in the process, and he only won the state by 40,000 votes. There was a need for education. So we teamed up with the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists and the Nathaniel Sabir Memorial Scholarship Fund, and, you know, we purchased a website. People can get registered online. We purchased billboards. We purchased radio ads. And we purchased social media impressions. So we purchased about 300,000 social media impressions, telling people to vote in a midterm election. So that was a citywide project. And we saw a 110% increase amongst millennials.
Awesome.
To be involved in the process. However, it was citywide. So we saw a lot of other millennials that wasn't typically black and brown millennials participate more in the process.
This time around?
Oh, November the 6th.
Okay.
That's what we saw from the Vote Philly Vote, yes.
Okay, so.
That's what we saw.
So the millennial vote did increase, but it didn't necessarily look like me and you affected the change that is going on here in the city, because you also got to think gentrification is big.
Right.
You know, the colleges and universities here in the city are big too. Right. So a lot of first-time voters are coming out of the Temple, the Penn, you know, the Villanovas and all that stuff too. So when it comes down to the gentrification that's going on here in the city, how is that actually hurting and harming us as black people, because we make up about 80% of the population here in the city? And then for you to say that, you know, the voting, you know, percentage went up, but it didn't go up based on the people who represent or reflect the city, that's kind of a little confusing to me. Talk to me.
Well, I mean, you know, like I said, we just looked at the numbers. We saw in Fishtown, New Kensington,
gentrification,
parts of like South Philly,
gentrified areas.
They came out at about like 60%. They was out. It was about 75. It was a high percentage over there that they came out and participated in the process more. And it was actually shocking. We saw the spikes. And like I said, we took out the billboards in Fairmount. I mean, we took them out, you know, citywide, you know, but we still didn't see a lot of the younger people, black and brown people participating. So, you know, it's something that we have to work on. You know, so this time we're working around, we're doing a lot of grassroots stuff, knocking on doors, we're doing transit stops, and what mainly important, you know, internet, you know, radio shows like this, you know, if you're watching this, you know, please, you know, share it, you know, revive, you know, we have to build up the consciousness right now. Because right now, as we're seeing, a lot of the images that's on TV are negative images. I was just in a barbershop watching Coming to America.
Shout out to the barbershops, man.
You know, I was in a barbershop, right, and they got on Coming to America. And if you know about Coming to America, you know, okay, you seen that Prince Hakeem was the son of a king. You know, it was those strong images. I remember Different World.
Yes.
You know, all the Cosby Show. It was just so many different positive images that we were indoctrinated as younger children.
Yes.
So now, as we see a lot of negative images that's on the media now, that's affecting our younger children.
Exactly.
You see a lot of the juggers, you know, a lot of these rappers now talking about, you know, taking pills, getting high, and, you know, using heroin, the opioids. I mean, we see all these different increases that's happening. So we have to, the positive people that have a positive message have to be more vigilant and working more together.
I feel you.
And sometimes, you know, you might do a community meeting, you might invite, you know, 1,000 people, and maybe only, you know, 10 to 15 might show up. And sometimes we get to the meeting, oh man, I invited 1,000 people, nobody care, and you know, and then sometimes you gotta really think about it. Sometimes we penalize those 10 people that came to the community meeting, as opposed to, you know what I mean? Okay, we're embracing them and saying, okay, we got 10 people in there. So now out of these 10 people, that next meeting, okay, we should actually bring one person with you. Now you got 20. Next month, 30, and you keep on building the consciousness movement up.
Right.
It wasn't never a whole bunch of people that wanted any movement, any revolution, any change of thinking to happen.
And let me ask you this too. Why do you think that the millennials, you know, black and brown millennials, did not go out and vote this past November? Why do you think that it did come down to, you know, other races getting out and voting for the city? I know because the city is changing. The 2020 plan is extremely rolling out because 2020 is next year, you know what I'm saying? So I see that going into a change, effective change, as I keep saying. I see that happening. But at the same time, what are your thoughts and opinions about the fact that we are not going out? Because you had to be in a position, you know, before you became a judge, before you became, you know, a person who wanted to run for city commissioner, you had to have that mindset that voting was something that was going to help not just you but your community and your family. So how did you even get into that mindset, so now that the people who are listening right now who did not get out and vote this past November can actually do that in May on the 21st?
Okay, well, I think this has to be, we have barriers in our community, right? You know, we have, you know, younger, older. At the end of the day, we have to all come together just a little bit more, right? I believe the younger people need to just sit underneath our seniors just a little bit more. Right now, I was involved, like my father was a big union guy, so I was kind of, you know, born into politics like that from the very beginning part. But then as far as me running for office and things like that, there was an older state representative named Louise Williams Bishop. And she had some younger opposition. And she just grabbed me by my arm and said, hey, you know, I want you around, you know, let me see what's going on. You want to be my driver. And, you know, my pants was sagging down, you know. She said, come on, I want you to be around me. I wasn't wearing no suits and ties and stuff like that, and she never judged me. And, you know, it's a woman that may be about 75 years old, and she just wrapped her arms around me and said, come on, be my driver, help me out. And that's kind of how I got in. So, God willing, when I get into city commissioner's office, like I said before, there's 98 full-time jobs. There's thousands of part-time and seasonal jobs. We have to bring the resources to the community. I want to hire people from our community. You know, these disadvantaged places where people are not voting, you need to put resources there.
Facts.
That's how you change something. You want better schools, you have to put resources to it.
Facts.
Anything that you want changed, there's a price tag to it, right? Because there's a time commitment, right? It's hard to get people to say, okay, I want you to volunteer, you know, for 80 hours a week to do something. Yet still, you still have children you got to take care of, you got rent to pay. We understand that. So we have to take the money out of our budget and allocate those resources to the issues that we have.
And does the city commissioner have any hand in that pot when it comes down to creating budgets?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a 3-member bipartisan board.
Okay.
It's a $10 million budget.
Okay.
So it's $10 million of tax revenue that's coming in, right? So we decide, okay, where the resources should be going at. So right now we have a lot of our money going to a lot of the election functions. So, you know, as the office, like I said, I'm going to be a cheerleader to getting more revenue for the office, funding, you know, more nonprofits that actually, like Vote Philly Vote, that, you know, if we was to put, you know, $1 million to it, we actually be hiring people from the community, saying, hey, this is your job, to knock on doors and tell people, you know, there's an election coming up. You know, advertising, radio stations like WRD, advertising.
Shout out to the black owned.
Right, that's what I'm saying, right. Advertising with radio stations like you. You know, they keep the lights on, right? You know, we want to hire, put the resources around, okay, here's our target. Here's the people that listen to it, right? So that's, you know, part of the decisions that we want to make. And that's just in politics in general. Like if you have, like I say, a bad school in a zip code, if that zip code is participating in the process, policymakers are going to say, oh, wait, these people over here vote, man. We got to, this is what they're asking for. We're going to give it to them.
Nice.
Because those elected officials work for the electorate.
So that's what you're saying. So let me ask you this question. When you get in office, what is your goal? Like, what is your 30-day rollout for us?
Well, a 30-day rollout is number one. Okay, I'm going to take an immediate audit, aggressive audit. We want to see exactly what's going on out that $10 million. Where's all the money going? You know, outside firm to go in there, shake everything up, make sure everything is running right. And if it will run right, you know, the first thing I want to do is develop a mobile application.
Okay.
And this mobile application is going to be robust to give us all the proper information so that we can get a lot of the information that we need on our smartphone.
Okay.
Because a lot of times the website is good for City Commissioner's office, but we need a mobile application. And then also, too, we're going to take our tour all around the city and see exactly what's going on. We're going to go to those areas that people are afraid to go to. And we're going to have conversations and bring them to the table to say, okay, over here you're not voting, why you're not voting, and what can we do to make it easier for you to vote. And once we get all those issues, then we're going to apply the changes that we need. But the way how I view the office is me being out in the community, knocking on doors, talking to people, hearing exactly what your needs are.
So then, because your job, you know, I know your job is important throughout the 6 months, but because your job pops up like an extraneous position, I would say every 6 months, because voting and different things like that, when it comes down to the national vote that will be going down next year in 2020,
Correct.
What are your plans for that, especially for here in the state of Pennsylvania, where last term we actually lost to 45.
Correct.
So
Correct.
what are we going to do next year on a national scale?
Okay, well, the one thing we want to look at is we want to see exactly, okay, what were some of the logistical challenges that people had to participate in the process. And as we work with Vote Philly Vote, a lot of issues that people had were whether or not you're registered or not. So one of the things we put on our website, you know, you can go to omarphilly.com and you can check whether or not you're registered. Some people don't know whether or not they're registered or not. You check your registration. You can find out where your polling location at. And if we have that mobile application, you'll be able to cut your mobile application on to find out where your polling location is. You ain't got to call anybody, ask anybody up, oh man, where do I vote at?
Work smarter, not harder, man.
You know, it's like you can get registered. You know, if you want to bundle everything up, people might say, okay, where do I vote at? Okay, cool. You'll be able to send out that information to people. Very easy. So we definitely need the mobile application to get those younger people involved. And then, like I said, we have to have, you know, more community meetings, you know, more incentives, like I say, talking to people. And then we have to tie relevant issues to what's going on. Like Meek Mills have reform going on, right?
That's big.
It's very big. But reform also has to inform people that they still have power to vote. There's a lot of misinformation out there that felons can't vote, that felons can't participate in the process. That's true in certain states, but in Pennsylvania, felons can vote. So what we want to try to do is make
all
sure
of y'all can vote. Everybody, as long as you're over the age of 18 and you haven't been. No, it is. You can if you've been convicted of it. Is, but they do have.
No. It's a small stipulation.
Okay,
if you've been involved in like
help
election
me.
fraud,
help me out.
something to do with like an election crime.
Yes.
Then you can't participate in the process.
Okay.
But it's for like a time. It's like 2 years that you can. It's a certain amount of time depending on the crime. But like I said, you can participate. You know, and that's something we worked hard for in Pennsylvania with Malik Aziz and a few other people. They actually went to trial for that. So, you know, they sued. You know, there was a lot of advocacy going on for that. And, you know, so now if you're a felon and you're done all your time, you know, if you get out of jail or prison or you're released, you know, even if you make a plea arrangement, you know, as a felon, like I say, you still can participate in the process.
Okay.
Now, there is one little small caveat, and you can go to ACLU.com about it. From state to state, it's a little bit different. Some state laws are different.
Okay.
So say if you're moving from a state, let's just say, for example, it could be like Texas. If you committed a crime in Texas, and you just move over to Philadelphia, and then you get registered, it's still like something where you might have to finish up your commitment over there in Texas.
And then, because it's
then you can vote.
Commonwealth?
Right, if you move over or something like that.
Okay.
But if you go to ACLU.com, because it's different, because 50 states and all the laws are different, so you have to be a little bit careful with that. But if you go to ACLU.com, they'll tell you everything from state to state. But I mean, basically, but if you live in Philadelphia, you're from Pennsylvania, we have some very free laws. I mean, get out there and participate in that process. And also too, on Tuesday, if you're voting by absentee ballot, your absentee ballot application has to be to the city commissioner's office by 5 p.m. on Tuesday. And then they're going to send you out a ballot. So then you have to fill out the ballot, and then the ballot has to be returned by Friday prior to the election for your absentee ballot to be counted.
Thank you for dropping that. One more time. Thank you for dropping that, Jim. One more time.
Okay.
For the absentee ballot.
Okay.
Because we kind of slow.
All right, we got it. All right, we'll say it again. I'm going to say it a little bit slower. All right. On Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, by 5 p.m., it has to be returned to the city commissioner's office, City Hall, or over at Delaware and Spring Garden. You have to take the absentee ballot application. It has to be returned to the city commissioner's office. Now, the city commissioner's office is then going to send you out a ballot. You'll receive the ballot by mail. You have to complete that ballot and then make sure that that ballot is turned in by Friday in order for your absentee ballot to be counted. So that means if you know you're going to be traveling, you're going to be out of town, or you have a physical ailment, where you're not going to be able to do it if you're in a hospital, make sure that we get those applications in by Tuesday.
No doubt. And I wanted to ask you this too, and I hope this is okay to ask you.
Sure.
Because you are in Ramadan at the same time
Right.
as you're going through this political process. And I wanted to ask you that, you know what I mean? Because a lot of, Muslims don't really speak up and speak out about their religion, especially when they're doing business, you know
Right.
what I mean? So the fact that you're doing both right now, I applaud you, you know what I mean? Especially because 45, he's putting all these different negative stereotypes on, that religion. So I wanted to ask you, how is it going through the process of going through Ramadan as well as, going through a political campaign?
Well, this is actually, this is the first time did this. So, okay, so we had a fundraiser, a group organization had a fundraiser from yesterday. It was a breakfast fundraiser.
Awesome.
So I was born and raised Muslim. So it's like, so me seeing people eat wasn't really a problem.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, you can eat like a cheesesteak in front of me. It just don't, like my mind is just not really like on food. And then it's like got my mind just a little bit more focused. So I'm kind of grateful that it actually did happen.
That Ramadan is happening during the political process. I'm with you.
Grateful. I mean, but it's like, politicians, we got to speak. So it's like my mouth be dry. But you still got to like move forward through it. Like, and it's a blessing. Then it's like at nighttime when we break our fast, we go to the masjid, you still got community events, stuff like that going on. So it's still kind of like, I don't know, it's just, I'm not going to say weird, because it's like the first time it's ever happening, but it's still a pleasant experience.
I'm happy that but the thing about it is, I don't want to say like I'm happy, but I am happy that you're going through this, because that teaches, other people who are in that religion that you too can do it too. You know what I mean? You don't have to be ashamed, and you don't have to feel like you cannot be yourself because you want to be more. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, that's the thing. I mean, it's even being involved in the political process. It's like, some Muslims say, you shouldn't vote and all that. Like, it's like, okay.
That's why I asked too.
Right. Some say that, but if you really look at just our tenements, we're supposed to be out in the community, making change. And that's all politics is you're making, political decisions, that affect your community every single day. So we have to be at the table, right? Like when we talked about zoning earlier, zoning is a big part. If you look at gentrification, and there's other things called like upzoning, and there's a couple terms, but if you really look and do your research on zoning, that really affects our community. And it's just making a decision about what should be involved in our community. And we do have some good zoning laws in our city. So, it's just, having a voice. And that's what being a Muslim is. You have to have a voice. And just anybody that believes in God or believes in anything, you want the community to be better. So it's time for us to step up. And like I said, remember to push 35, on Tuesday, May 21st. I'm the endorsed Democratic candidate. I've been endorsed by Millennials in Action. I've been endorsed by the Young Democrats. Pennsylvania, the Young Democrats in Philadelphia. So almost every millennial group I've been endorsed by. But then again, like I said, we're talking about turnout. And the responsibility comes on us to let people know when is election day.
Yes.
And that you must vote, and that your vote is important and your vote counts. Some people do know it's election day. They just say, my vote, you don't count. Your vote do count, because we're putting judges on the bench. We're doing city council. We're doing register of wills. We're doing the mayor. So it's an important election coming up that affects you every single
day. Yes, man. Yes, and if y'all want to get these potholes filled, y'all better get out there May 21st. But yo, Mr. Sabir, I want to get to know you a little bit, man. We want to get to know you. We want to know that these candidates are regular people, real people. I don't know what regular is, but real people. You know what I mean? People down to earth people that we can vibe with. If we go to, Uncle Bobby's up there in Germantown, shout out to the black-owned businesses. We too can see you in there vibing with us. All right. So I want to know some questions. First and foremost, what you think about these Sixers right now? We tied 3-3 with the Raptors. They pulled that win out yesterday, 101, 112.
We got this.
Philly got it?
We got it.
All right. You thinking they going all the way?
We going to go all the way. Come on, listen now.
I'm just asking. What's up?
We got this.
All right.
Well, let me tell you something about, man, listen. The story is like this. The Eagles, right? That's our story, right? And that's even our story just tying it in like the voting, man, and comebacks, man. You know what I mean? You do count, man. Like, don't count us out.
Okay.
And that's what we have to realize. Sometimes we've been marginalized. I know people been telling us, man, you ain't nothing.
Joel, man, I'm counting. If Joel got to hold it down, he got to keep his calm, keep it cool, and hold it down, man. He got to shoot that ball.
He'll be there. I mean, it's you got players, but then you just got heart and character.
Okay.
And that's what Philly are. We're fighters. We fight for our community. That's why on Tuesday, May 21st, everybody gonna go out. We're gonna push 35. It's gonna make us feel alive, and we're gonna get more for our community. All right. But I'm telling you, the Sixers championship.
All right, champion. All right, shout out to Meek Mills. He just dropped that championship album
Meek.
too.
Come on.
Let me ask you this question:
Talk to me.
What is your favorite restaurant here in the city of Philadelphia?
South.
All right, that's a good one. That's black on too. I appreciate you. All right, what is your favorite superhero? Because you're a superhero yourself, by being an elected official, you become a superhero. So what is your favorite superhero?
I always like Superman.
Superman? Okay, Superman. And then my last question. The Eagles, you already answered this one, but the Eagles or the Steelers?
Eagles.
I mean, you never know.
I feel insulted.
You never know. Sometimes I see a lot of yellow and black or gold and black coming around this city. You never know.
Man,
I had to ask.
Eagles, but I do think we should have kept Nick Foles, man.
Okay.
We should have kept Nick, man. Like, it's just something special, like, sometimes about people, like, and you just can't, like, quantify it. Like, I mean, Wentz, he got, like, the numbers and all that, but it's just, like, something inside of you.
Okay.
The team play behind him.
Right, and that's what, like, the millennials really have to feel, like, that we have a seat at the table, and we got to step up. We got to open our own businesses, right? We got to vote. We got to do all these different things. We got to elect people that represent us. And, we have a couple more millennials as well. We have Isaiah Thomas.
Yes.
He's running for city council at large.
Yes, that's my guy.
Kathy Gilmore.
Shout out to him. He just won a state championship.
Right. So you got Kathy Gilmore. She's running. Like, she's only, 36 or something, like 35? So we actually have, to pit 3 black young people under 40 that have a really good shot. We've all been endorsed by Democratic Party. We've been endorsed by Millennials Next. We've been endorsed by Labor. So we have a hell of a chance to win and pull it out. But what they're asking, is the younger people going to come out?
That's the question.
So that's the question that needs to be answered. We see our predicament that we're in right now. That was a result from not participating in the process.
I'm with you. And let me ask you this question. So if you was at karaoke right now, what song would you sing? What's your favorite karaoke song to sing?
Remember the Time.
Remember the Time. All right. That's a good one. And the last one, because you are a family guy, you know what I mean? If you could take your family on one vacation right now, in the city of Philadelphia, though, it has to be a location in the city, where would you take them for a family fun day?
Oh, a family fun day? Oh, Please Touch Museum.
Please Touch Museum. All right, that's what's up. They got to lower their prices, man. How adults going to be the same price as the kids?
Okay, all right. So
come on, help me out.
Okay, all right. I'm going to help you out real quick. Okay, number one. Okay, they actually have this exhibit right now that's focusing on Islam.
Awesome.
It's called Zanzibar, and the founder actually took a chance on doing it.
Okay.
She took it. She did it.
As she should.
You know what I mean? And she just said, I just want to be more inclusive, And it's not just like that popcorn, traditional, ideas where we look at Muslims, like look at people from overseas. It's actually like the African American experience involved in it. It's very reflective of it, and it's nice, But I've been see the membership. See, a lot of times we don't play the membership game. And when I say the membership game, I'm referring to like just take like the zoo for example. You can get a family package for like I don't know, like $150, and you cover for the whole year. You can go as many times as you want.
Okay, so you mean like take
Right.
advantage
So
of...
when you get the membership package for the Please Touch Museum, it's like $200. That's a family of 4. Like you can get the membership over at the aquarium for like $50, and that covers you. You can go if that's for individual. You can go as many times you want. Yeah,
and then they have different events and different activities
they have different
throughout
events,
the year.
different activities. You get a discount on renting this place out for events.
Okay.
So like the millennials.
Oh, he's dropping gems. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, but no, it's the memberships.
Okay.
Like and it's like the memberships cost as much as it costs for one visit.
Okay.
So they just try to push you to get a membership.
Okay.
That's why the prices are so high.
All right. So shout out to the Please Touch Museum.
The Franklin Institute, it's like it's like $200 for a whole family. But for individuals, it's like $100. And then they have like events like during like the week too. Like they have like millennial events, stuff like that at nighttime.
They had a lot of different Philly, because this week is Philly Tech Week. So a lot. Well, I seen you there too. Yep, Cypher City. So it's a lot of different things that's going on.
The art museum. Now listen. The membership game. If one thing you can understand, if you want to save like some money, then like if you have like the membership where you can bring a guest on, okay, so somebody can purchase a membership for this museum, and somebody can purchase a membership for that, and then we can share.
And share the buddy passes. So as you can tell, he gonna be in charge of a budget. So you know, you know what I'm saying, he a little frugal. So you can see that he gonna be doing the budget the right way. So that was a great example because you didn't even know what you was doing that just now, and that was actually really good because you had me thinking like, all right, he might know about a little budget or something.
Yeah. What's always good.
No doubt. And let me ask you this last question before we wrap up. So this also is a mayor race too that's coming up on May 21st. So let's talk a little bit about that. What do you think about this mayor's race that's coming up? Do you think Kenny has another shot at a new term?
Well, they took a poll. So the current mayor was up about 70 to 30. He's an incumbent. And if you look at election results from typically in Pennsylvania, people just like incumbency. It's like, okay, this person here. It takes a lot for you to, take an incumbent out. All roads kind of lead to he's probably going to win.
Okay.
But you still have you have some other challengers. They're saying some interesting things.
Okay.
So I suggest that everybody just listen to what everybody is saying, and then you can make, an informed decision.
Okay.
But I know, just me personally, I'm just focusing on 35.
35.
Press 35 is gonna make you feel alive, and get out there and vote. Like I said, you got the mayors. You got the judges. They're very important. The judges, they just go straight through sometimes, and people don't even know.
And we had a judge
City council.
We had a judge up here, Terry Booker, who's actually running too, and she was saying that judges sit on that seat for 6 to 9 years at a time. You know what I'm saying?
Common Pleas is for 10 years.
10 years. Jeez.
10 years. But it's just a lifetime appointment because you have a retention election that comes up, and it's just you press yes or no every 10 years.
And then that's what it is.
And it's just mostly, typically, they just gonna say, yes.
And that's the problem, man. That's what we gotta fix, and that's why I'm glad that you somebody who's supporting us here at Revive Radio, so our listeners and our supporters can know what's really going on here in the city of Philadelphia.
That's right.
So once again, tell them where they can find you, your website, social media. 35 is alive. Let's go.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So my name is again Omar Sabir. My button number is 35. If you press 35, it's going to make you feel alive. I'm a candidate for city commissioner, and I love your support. You can go to omarforphilly.com to get more information about my candidacy. If you want to support the campaign, you want to volunteer, if you want to work, if you want to be involved in the process, we'd love to have you.
Yes.
And also on my social media, Instagram, Facebook, is at Omar for Philly. And real quick, I just want to say hi, if I may, just say hi to my wife.
Please do.
All my kids, I love y'all so much. Being out here, doing this, you need a family support behind you, because running for public office is taxing on the family. And I believe in a strong family. And I just like to say I love y'all and appreciate y'all, my mom, everybody. And that's everybody in the community. Just telling me, keep on going. Sometimes you be thinking like, do I stop? Or I just go? It's just. But thank you.
I appreciate you, man. Keep going. Don't stop. We need more people like you who are passionate about their communities, passionate about their people and their family. I love the fact that you went out your way to big up your family, because not a lot of people understand how much family support really helps you to keep going and motivates you. So I definitely appreciate that. Shout out to your wife.
That's right. Listen, we the village. We got all branches of family. It's like, you got your biological family. You got your Cheney family. All of them, just been very supportive. Just everybody like, okay, I see you alumni. I see you.
Yes.
You know, I get the pats on my back. Like, you know, I get everything. So I appreciate all of y'all, just everybody. Like, and there will be a new day. You know, after difficulty comes ease.
Yes.
So we see the things that's going on, but we can turn them around, and you have the power. Don't let nobody tell you that you don't. That vote. I'm telling you, it's the reason why Dr. King, it's the reason why Medgar Evers, it's the reason why all these people came before us that risked their lives for this and gave their lives up for this. It's the reason why they done it. It's power in it. And you have the power. Don't let nobody tell you that. I know we've been marginalized, you know. You can do it. You know what I mean? You can do it. You can do whatever it is what you want. If you want to see good schools, but it has to, but I'm telling you, everything starts at that voting booth. I'm telling you, because the reason why I say all that is we don't have no uncles that we can call up and say, hey, look, I got a program, I need $1 billion. We don't have it. So we're going to have to go back in that taxpayers' resources that we already spending our resources on. You know, we get public grants and stuff like that. That's taxpayer money. That's money that you spending for. It's not like, but if your voice is not there, then other people are going to take that tax revenue and make whatever decisions they want to make. They might think, okay, we might want to make a dog park somewhere. We want to build a dog park as opposed to investing that money into elementary school. So these are decisions that we have to make, but it has to come from us voting.
Yes, man. Get out and vote May 21st.
March
May
35.
21st, man. All my new all my new voters, you know what I'm saying? All my millennial voters, get out and vote. It is no excuse, man. We definitely have to put back into our communities, and we also have to invest in ourselves. We have to understand that even voting is an investment. Voting is an investment to your future, to your schools, to your kids, to your communities, to your car. You know what I'm saying? So definitely get out and vote. And don't forget, man, check us out at reviveisalive.com in our news and our press section, so you too can read up on our local and our international news, our breaking news, because we not about that fake news, man, here on reviveisalive.com. So definitely make sure you guys check that out. We'll be back on Monday, man, 7 a.m. Turn your radios up. Tell a friend to spread the word, spread the message. Shout out to my guy, DJ Reese, for holding it down, man, each and every Tuesday, each and every Friday, here live on Revive. Shout out to your girl, Tab Money, and Harmony the Goddess, for holding it down. You already know what time it is, man. Turn your radios up, spread the word, spread the message. We'll be back on Monday. Let's go, Reese. Get them back in this Good Morning Mix.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Zarina, host of Talking the Walk, and I am here with my girl P.O.C, who's always holding it down and supporting those who support her. You are live every morning with her from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., so you got to get up anyway, as she says, so get up with her, because you won't be getting up with me. And we'll see you then. All right.